And now we wrap things up by taking a look at the general strategies and tactics that you'll want to employ. Hello everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire. And we are now wrapping things up with the 5th edition Rune Knight guide, and we're going to take a look at the general strategies and tactics that you're going to want to employ. But before we get into breaking all of that down, if you're new here to the channel, then go on down there and hit that subscribe button and become a regular member here at the Gamer's Den. Or, if you've already listed yourself as part of a legendary roster such as that, then go on down and hit that like button and share the video far and wide to help us grow ever further. But now, let's go ahead and start breaking things down. So, to begin with, as a Rune Knight, and the particular build that we're going with here, being able to swap out different proficiencies with toolkits and the like, your expanded kit proficiencies and ability to double your proficiency bonus with kits make you incredibly useful outside of combat. If you've gone with a disguise kit, that will help with deception. If you've taken a lockpicking set, even though you have a lower dexterity score, doubling your proficiency bonus with it is still going to be very useful. I would say, although maybe it's a little bit power gamey, meta gamey, try to cover up deficiencies that your group has. If you already have a rogue in the party with proficiency with the thieves tools, then go with something else and let the rogue shine where they really shine. And now remember, you're a fighter, you're in heavy armor, and you should have a good hit point total, and if you're taking resilience, you'll have good strength, dex, or wisdom, and con saving throws. And this actually brings up a point that a commenter had brought up to me, and that's the resilience feat. You can only take it once. I had just assumed, because of my previous hangups from Pathfinder and 3rd edition D&D, that you could take a feat multiple times for different things. But you cannot with 5th edition unless it explicitly says so. So, pick either dexterity or wisdom. Both of these saving throws are actually great to have. If I were you, I would default more towards wisdom over dexterity. That's because we have an okay wisdom score and dexterity not so much. Though, advantage anywhere on either of these two will still be helpful to you. And then, also remember that Giant's Might will let you threaten and control a larger area, as well as deal more damage, both with the bonus damage dice and the extra dice you get from using a larger weapon now. If you position yourself to block melee attackers from getting to your less armored allies, this will be a huge benefit to your group. As an example, if you're at a choke point, such as a bridge or the entrance to a cave, and whether opponents are streaming in or out, using your larger size and ability to affect a wider number of squares will be very useful. Also, your larger size in this instance and your athletics proficiency will allow you to reliably grapple larger targets. And don't forget that when you're in a grapple, you can use a weapon to attack an opponent. So say this was your longsword and you were coming at me, and say I'm an ogre or something, a large size creature, and you use Giant's Might to go to large size. Well, you can use the weapon to grapple me, and there are historical contexts and manuals and techniques describing how to do just such a thing. Get the weapons locked up and bound, slip around behind me and get their blade or your own blade up against their throat while you're at their back, and then, well, just start sawing away. It's pretty brutal, but it's effective, and you have an accurate descriptor of how to do just such a thing in the midst of a fight. But we also have more for you. Remember that you have runes, and runes are going to give you your widest options for battlefield control and effects. The fire rune will allow you to deal damage, 2d6 fire damage every round, and will restrain the target. And this will last for up to 1 minute. But they do get a save each and every round, but every time they fail, they're still restrained and they're still taking additional damage. And to apply this, all you have to do is hit them in melee, and you're good at hitting things in melee. The Cloud Rune will be useful for redirecting attacks to other targets, so say somebody does get at one of your squishy allies, say they're attacking the wizard. Well, you can redirect their attack on the wizard to yourself within that 30-foot range, as long as there's no other better targets around. The reason you'd redirect to yourself if there's no other option is, one, again, you have good hit points, and two, you have a better armor class, so you may just end up deflecting that attack, whereas the wizard would eat that attack, and that would be very, very bad all the way around. And remember, you also have the Hill Rune for resisting bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. So this will increase your tank ability, make you much more survivable in a fight. This is great to have. And the other rune options aren't bad as well. I would say skip over Frost Rune though. You can leave that one out. All the other ones will give you so much more and be so much more useful for you in the long run. Also remember, if you decide to go the Great Weapon Master route and take Polearm Master, remember that attacks of opportunity and attacking with the butt end of your polearm for that extra attack, use your reactions and your bonus actions, which some of your runes do depend on. So that may affect your choices in combat, or it should and will affect your choices in combat, it is more accurate. At any given time, one option may be better than the other, and I would say if you're fighting mostly chaff, nothing important, it's fodder feeding into you, then go with your Polearm Master attack options, because larger size, that butt end may only deal a d4 when you're at a normal size, but when you become large or huge, that's 2d4, then 3d4, and don't forget that your strength bonus applies to that as well, so you could end up with 3d4 plus 4 dealing damage to all these weak fodder enemies and be able to chew through them much faster. But if you're dealing with more dangerous opponents, maybe wait and save those extra attacks and keep your rune options available, just in case anything does get by you. And then lastly, when we break this down mathematically, dueling is better than Great Weapon Master when you're normal sized. The math here shows longsword deals 1d8 damage used one-handed, and you get that +2 bonus from dueling. So you're at a minimum of 3, maximum of 10, and an average of about 6.5, and you're getting bonus armor from having a shield. But then if you're using the halberd, that's 1d10 points of damage, and you're getting a minimum of 3 because you get to reroll 1s and 2s, maximum of 10, average of 6.5, but there's no bonus AC there, so when you're at that normal size, this is going to be the lesser option. But once you go to large or huge, the math changes a bit. When you're large size, you get 2d8 plus 2 out of a longsword, so you're looking at a minimum of 4, max of 18, and an average of 10.5. Then at huge, 3d8 plus 2, so minimum of 5, max of 26, average of 14.5, which really, that's not bad at all. But then we throw in the halberd, and when you become large size with the halberd, you get 2d10, so you're looking at a minimum of 6, maximum of 20, and then an average of 13. And then at the huge size category, you get 3d10 for that minimum of 9, maximum of 30, and an average of 19.5. Like, this jumps pretty hard. Like, it goes so fast. And you can see how this really starts to get out of control. And, Great Weapon Master is definitely very, very great and pairs really well with these larger size categories. And remember that you're getting extra damage dice when you're using the butt end of your halberd to attack as well. And this doesn't even factor in anything like magic damage bonuses from having a magic weapon, or your strength bonuses, or anything like that. So this really starts to go further and further and further. This was base, no bonuses, no additional anything. So this can get out of control pretty damn quickly. And just kind of re-emphasizes how useful Great Weapon Master, great weapons in general, two-handed weapons being used with a high-strength character when they can enlarge their size, and it just goes wild. But these are just the general strategies and tactics. Depending on what magical equipment you have, this can alter some things A little bit, but not hugely. Like if you're using blink boots or boots of flying, this enhances your maneuverability and ability to get into different positions. You can start threatening opponents who are otherwise not threatened by you at all. If you can fly up to an opponent who's up on a Pegasus raining arrows down on you, well, that person is no longer as much of a danger. They now also have to focus on you rather than on the rest of the party. Or if there's a wizard at the back line and you want to get over to them, using blink boots can help get you over to them much faster. And now they have a large size angry person with a long sword or a halberd staring them down. Definitely not an ideal position for any wizard to be in. But remember that they still have options, but that's where all your different rune abilities come in handy. Because if you can hit them with that halberd and then slap them with the fire rune, restrain them, and deal continuous damage every round, oh goodness, that wizard will be in for a world of hurt. But this is just the beginning. This is just the tip of the iceberg, and things really start to shift depending on what the party composition is, what abilities everyone has, and what other magical equipment you might have on hand. And there's certainly no limit to human ingenuity and creativity. So go out there, play, and have fun. But what do you think? Go on down to the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Did you like today's video? Did you dislike it? Is there anything that you would add? Let me know and we'll engage in discussion down below. Hit that like or dislike button, and as I said earlier, if you're not subscribed already to the channel, then go on down there, hit that subscribe button, and become a regular member here at the Gamers Den. Also, go on down to the comments below and let me know what class I should cover next. I still would like to cover some more things from Pathfinder. I'd like to visit Treant Monk's Guide to Rangers and update it with some of the new wonderful things that came out down the line, but still, I'll try to follow the voice of the community as best as I'm able. But with all that said, I've been your host, Jordan, your Master of Lore and Storyteller Extraordinaire. Thank you all so very much for your time, and you all have yourselves a good night.